Hello there, Big Benedict here. We're playing Uncharted 3 Remastered on brutal difficulty. This is my guide and walkthrough. We're currently on chapter 21 of 22. It is entitled The Atlantis of the Sands. So this first fight has my vote for the most awkward fight in the game. We're going to be dealing with the Djinn's enemies. Now, these enemies have two life cycles. Their first life cycle starts out as human. There are some enemies that start out in their second phase, which is the actual Djinn monster here. That is a like a flaming sort of spirit creature. I'll talk about it in a moment when we actually have time, but they are absurdly fast, and I believe they can just outright one-shot you. The bombs that they throw are not returnable, so you know, if they throw one of those, you have hardly any recourse but to just get out of the way. There is an RPG on this level by the chest up into the right over here. I'm gonna try to get my hands on it if I can. The other explosive weapon over here is the grenade launcher. So there's going to be 3 of these guys that you have to kill before the elevator doors down here open and you get another checkpoint. So there's a checkpoint, and the RPG is respawned so that now we can grab this again. So what happens is after you kill their human phase, they go into their spirit form, and they will start teleporting. Now if you look closely when they teleport, they don't just teleport to somewhere that is illogical. They teleport to somewhere where you can see the trail of their fire, and you can track it if you're sharp enough with your eye. You can track to see where exactly they're going, so they just don't go any random way. Here's the grenade launcher. Be sure that when you kill everybody over here, that you don't reset the checkpoint, and you want to be very careful with switching out all of your weapons, picking up all the nades. Now, at the last battle of this chapter, there's going to be several enemies who start in their spirit form, but the ones that you're going to see now start in their human phase. They are very fast, and the game, in its defense and to its credit, the game gives you a proper amount of tools to deal with these enemies. There's a whole host of great weapons over here. You know, there's a few shit weapons like the para and the what's it called, that micro Uzi. I don't know what it's called right now off the top of my head, but like you would not want to use that on these enemies. You want to use something very strong with a lot of splash. Oh, it's called the arm micro. So right there is my transition, but it is a roundabout fair enemy. I did a little bit of research about the Djinns. It's an offshoot of the word Djinni, and it is a noun that means a class of spirits that, according to the Muslim demonology, they inhabit the earth and assume various forms, exercising supernatural powers like genies. So I believe they're a manifestation of Drake in his hallucinogenic state after he drank the contaminated water in this area. That's, you know, my remembrance. You know, this walkthrough is not to walk you through the steps of the story. It's to get you through these combat sections, and we've got about 3 more combat sections. Now, some of these Djinns, they will start out in their supernatural form, and the last fight is going to have a combination of both. There's going to be 3 that start out in their second phase, and then 1 who starts out in his first phase. Now, the only thing that there's a couple of things. One is kind of borderline unfair. I don't like the bombs that they throw that can't be returned. I understand that it's a higher class of a grenade that you know, I can understand why it wouldn't be returnable, but their quickness And I probably mentioned this last time because I always mention the sensitivity of the camera, but since you cannot adjust the look sensitivity in this game, only the aiming sensitivity, it puts you at a bit of a disadvantage because keeping up with their location is you know, is not fully in your control if you cannot control how fast you can swivel the camera around the character that you're utilizing. So I think that is really the only unfair thing about them. And like I said, to Naughty Dog's credit, it's not anything that has to do with the enemy per se. It has to do with the game mechanics and its limitations. Anyway, you're going to be approaching this door over here, and in between every fight, you just want to make sure that you've got a full stock of the grenade launcher. Oh, okay, we've got one Djinn in his second form. The grenade launcher is a very, very powerful tool. The RPG is, I would say, not as good as the grenade launcher because the reload time of the RPG is much longer than the grenade launcher. And although it might be more powerful, this weapon, its speed and its splash and the amount of ammunition that you can carry is pretty much unmatched. You know, I know the RPG has some great splash to it too, but I'm just saying that as long as you've got a grenade launcher every time, and as long as you're using that weapon switching trick to maximize the amount of grenades you're carrying, so that you have, you know, 10 or more grenades every time, you're going to be in great shape. I mean, absolutely great shape. Make sure that you save some grenades for the beginning of the next chapter too. Ideally, you would want to go there with 4 grenades, but I know ideals can't always be met. Now, here's the very difficult section because there isn't much of a safe place to stand. So what I do is I throw grenades to stagger these enemies as quickly as I can. Staying over here to the left has always been something that I choose to do instead of going over to the right. It might be a placebo, and hell, it probably is, but the thing about this is that it's kind of like a shot. It hurts for a moment, but it's over before you even know that it really even started. You know, it will sting, but it will be over very quickly. And you might say, well, Vic, you're not telling me how to win this fight. Only your reflexes and your luck it's going to help you get through this fight, guys. And your ability to be quick on your feet and to be lucky, because let's face it, you can't go more than a few steps on Brutal without getting your ass slaughtered. There's our jump for joy. It's going to transition into the jump into the pool. I did lose a little bit of footage, and I apologize about that, but yeah, what you want to basically do is just, you want to cluster kill the Djinns at the beginning of that fight, because those guys, like I say, they're only in they start out in their second phase, so that you're probably going to end up, as your last kill, killing the guy that comes in his first form, because he takes, you know, more ammunition to take down. But you know, you want to throw a few grenades to stagger folks, and then you want to just go whole hog with your grenade launcher. Just absolutely whole hog, guys. No holding back. When you run out of your grenade launcher, pick up the RPG. It is crucial to have a couple of grenades. Will help you out at the beginning of the next stage, because you're in a very awkward area. Less awkward than the first fight in this chapter, but it's still kind of awkward because you've got a heavy to deal with, and going toe to toe with him with melee is just not feasible. So that has been chapter 21, guys. We're gonna see each other in the final chapter of the Brutal trilogy, and it's been kind of bittersweet to think about that. How we've been through so much together, but it's finally coming to a close, and like I said, it's bittersweet, sad, and happy at the same time. But regardless, it's been a great run. Take care.
Time to play, assholes.